Hi, this is Josh Lane. I'm Vice President at Channel Intelligence, Vice President of Marketing, and we'd like to welcome you to today's session. The topic will be Commerce Enabling Your Rich Media Ads, and the session will be co-hosted by Flite and Channel Intelligence, and we appreciate you taking your time to join us today. We'd like to introduce our presenters. From Flite, we have Lev Pevsner, Product Manager.
Thanks, Josh, and thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you for joining us, Lev. It's great to have you here. We've also got Stephen Roth, Vice President of Digital Strategy at Channel Intelligence.
Thanks. Hi, everybody.
Well, and Lev and Stephen are going to take you through some great material on how the buy now, drag and drop integration works with Flite. And towards the end of the session today, we're going to have a Q&A. So throughout the session, if you have any questions that come to mind, please enter them into your chat module, and then we'll circle back around and address them at the end of the session. So with that, let's kick it over to Lev and Stephen.
Thanks, Josh. I'm going to start off. I know we have an audience that's kind of a mix of Flite and Channel Intelligence customers. So I'm going to start by introducing Flite and what we do and the services that we offer, and then Stephen will do the same for Channel Intelligence. So let me just start with some introductory information here. So we're an ad innovation startup. We have a software as a service business model, so everything all our products are web-based and all our infrastructure is in the cloud. We were founded in 2006. And what do we do? So our core value propositions, a couple of things here. Premium ad product platform. So we allow you to quickly and efficiently build traffic and then measure the performance of these content-rich and interaction-rich display ads. And then there's this concept of paid media publishing, and that's the idea that the same way that right now you update the content of your website and your social media outlets, like Facebook and Twitter, the same way you can update your paid media outlets, which is your ads running on various publishers, by sort of pushing content there on a day-to-day basis, just as you would for Facebook and Twitter. So a very powerful concept there. We're backed by Sequoia and Hammer Winblatt, so some big VC firms, and at the bottom you see just some of our customers. Primarily publishers like Condé Nast and CBS and Forbes, but some brands as well. Next slide, please. So just expanding a little bit on this idea of ad innovation at scale. So we deliver ad innovation at scale to the world's top publishers and brands. And here are sort of several central ideas to that. Agile, I'm actually going to start with. So be agile and respond immediately to performance metrics and daily events. That's this idea that you can, again, on a daily basis, do agile marketing and respond to what's going on out there and update your ad immediately with relevant, up-to-date content. And then that kind of feeds into this idea of real time. Now we have real-time metrics, so you can see exactly how users are engaging with your ad in real time, and you can also make updates in real time. So a very powerful concept there, and all of that feeds into kind of maximizing the value of your ad inventory and your ROI by creating ad products that are truly unique and engaging, which is something that which is a core strength of Flite. Next slide. Here are just some numbers to back up some of the things that I've been talking about. So when I think about the impact of using the Flite platform on your advertising business, I think about higher revenues and greater margins. So the higher revenues come from higher CPMs. So because publishers are able to develop these highly differentiated, high-value ad products with Flite, they're able to charge higher CPMs for them. So we did a survey, and the number was around 74%. And then operational efficiencies is the other side of it. That's where the greater margins come in. So you can build your ads a lot faster, basically, with the Flite platform. And we streamline that whole process of ad building and trafficking and measurement. And finally, more effective ads. And that's because you're able to, in real time, see these rich user engagement metrics and in real time update your ads. That optimization cycle of iterating and learning is just a lot faster with the Flite platform than it would be otherwise. Next slide. So that was kind of a quick introduction of what the core strengths of Flite and what we do. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of the Flite platform and a little more specifics. These are sort of the four pillars of the Flite platform that you see here. Build is this idea of building content-rich ads with the Flite platform, and we have a very design-friendly tool, and you're going to see that when I do a demo later on in this webinar. Measure is the idea of measuring ad performance. Again, we go beyond just clicks and impressions, and we actually measure user engagement data, like video plays, scrolls, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Trafficking ads, we support all the major ad servers, so it's pretty universal. And extend, finally, that's this idea of incorporating web apps into your ads, and that's where channel intelligence comes in as well. So the next few slides are going to go over these four concepts. I'm really going to concentrate on build and extend, but if you guys have any questions on the other two or anything else, definitely feel free to write in with those. Build. So building and updating ads in real time. You could build a content ad rich in hours with Flite. We have a very designer-friendly ad studio. You don't need to know how to code. It's all graphical, and you can just drop in various components into your ad and configure them right there. So very easy to use. It's kind of a Photoshop-like interface, so most designers will find it intuitive. So again, flexible design environment, and another key concept here is the idea of templates. So we've templatized a lot of this. So for example, IAB Rising Star Units is something that's new display ad units that are pretty popular out there right now, like portrait and slider and sidekick ads. And we have templates where you can basically just drop a template into the ad studio, and you've got the framework of the IAB Rising Star ad right there. So all you have to do is populate it with your content. So very easy to make those as well. Next, please. Measure, again, I'm not going to say too much about measure and traffic, but the main idea here is there's just a lot of metrics that we capture, from the traditional impressions and clicks to video plays and how long the video is played. On average, all the different interactions with pause and mute buttons and so on, and for Twitter component, for example, all the various click-throughs and scrolling and navigation within the ad and so on. So a lot of reporting there, and you can even report on a whole campaign rather than an individual ad. So there's reporting across ads. Next, please. And traffic, the main idea here again is You can traffic our ad creatives to any major ad server. We support all the major ad functionality. And you can even do things like trafficking multiple ads with a single ad tag, which makes it much easier to do A/B testing. Next, please. And extend. I'll spend a little bit more time on this. Flite Hub is our web app integration program. It allows you to bring the functionality of both popular web apps like Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and so on, but also more specialized web apps such as channel intelligence, where to buy functionality, and others. And you can bring that functionality directly into your ads in a way that's turnkey, that's robust and configurable. So you can just drop one of these apps into a Flite ad, and I'll show this in the demo, configure it to match your branding, and then you can reuse those apps or components across different ads as much as you want. So that's a very powerful concept there. Next, please. Excellent. So we've got just a couple of examples here of some of the apps in ads that we've talked about. Again, if it's very extendable to use that word again. So we have some of these apps that come with the platform, such as YouTube and Twitter and channel intelligence. But we also you can also build your own apps. So you can extend this in any way you want. If it runs on the web, you can run it in Flite. And this, again, this idea of bringing content and functionality to the user with no need to click through is a very powerful idea. So the content is right there in the ad. You don't need to go to the advertiser's website. So channel intelligence, let me sort of start segueing into that. Our integration with channel intelligence is this buy now component, which enables consumers to purchase a product from a selection of online retailers. And next slide, please. And the way this collaboration really evolved is sort of our strengths and challenges were a very good match for each other. So on the Flite side, we've got the platform as our strength. We've got a platform that allows you to do agile marketing and to develop ads in this very fast, iterative, and flexible way, and this concept of integrating apps into your ads. And on the channel intelligence side, of course, and Stephen will talk a lot more about this, they have a comprehensive solution for commerce-enabling digital assets. And for us, that's actually an ask that we've gotten from several customers, how to sort of bring that path to purchase and ability to purchase product into ads. So it seemed like a natural collaboration to drive quality conversions in this collaborative solution. Next slide, please. And the product of this collaboration was this buy now component, and which you see on in the screenshot on the right side here, and you'll see again in the demo, and that's those vendor or retailer rather logos that you see at the bottom, and those are clickable, and they click through to a deep link to the product purchase page for whatever item you're advertising here. So on the Flite side, we provide the turnkey functionality that enables this, and you know, all the customization that you can do to the look and feel of the component. And on the channel intelligence side, they have an extensive database of both SKUs and retailers to power this, and some great analytics to measure the performance of how this app is performing within the ad. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Stephen.
Okay, thanks, Lev. So I'll cover the where-to-buy services in general for those that aren't familiar with our services, but then I'll get into some analytics that are unique for the service, as well as talk about some best practices for how to implement this component into the Flite platform. So channel intelligence has been around for just over 12 or 13 years now. We've focused on this core market, essentially, which is the ability to create a path to purchase in all the digital assets. So a consumer that comes to a brand website or a mobile site or sees a display ad or video ad or goes to Facebook, those people often have high purchase intent. They're interested in your brand. They want to buy your products. And so we created a service that allows you as a brand to create a path to purchase in those digital assets. The way we do that is we aggregate data for both online retailers and local stores to indicate what's available, what the current prices are, who carries that. And so we have about 300 million product offers that we update daily, so we know exactly which products are sold and all the details around those products. And with that data, we power a variety of solutions, and I'll show some examples here in a minute, but basically provide that path to purchase so consumers can go from your digital asset, if it's a brand display ad through Flite or if it's a brand website, click through and then purchase the product. And we have metrics that then take the sales data that results from those clicks and those impressions and reports it back to the brand. So there's a full feedback loop on what the ROI is for those campaigns. We also provide best practices consulting so that the results aren't just a bunch of data we provide, but actually will help you interpret the data and help you compare it to how other industry trends and industry statistics look, so you can get an understanding of whether you're doing well or poorly relative to the overall market. The next slide shows a list of clients we deal with. So we focus on pretty much any vertical that's out there. It's a high concentration of CPG companies right now, as well as consumer electronics, toys, tools. On the retailer side, we cover the gamut of pretty much any retailer out there. We have coverage in about 32 countries now, so this is a global solution available for international brands as well. On the next slide, one of the key things and the reasons we create the service is that when people have high purchase intent, they really just want to find a way to buy the products that are advertised. For example, we did a survey with Forrester a few years back where the people that visit a brand website, 54% of those users have high purchase intent. They're coming with the intention of purchasing, and when they do, you want to clear out all the clutter along the way to the purchase, which can be all the distractions that come up. They get busy, they check reviews, they check prices, and so on. The goal is, whether it's a brand website or a mobile site or in a display ad, is create an easy and simple path to purchase that allows you to take that purchase intent and convert it to purchases immediately without losing people along the way. So on the next slide, we show some examples of this. So from the left to right here, we have examples like the LG, which is a traditional brand website. We have Cosmo, which is a website or just a display ad in Japan. We have Twitter, video reviews, YouTube, mobile sites, and so on. All the way over to the right, you see examples for integration into Facebook. And of course, today we'll focus primarily on the integration with Flite, as Lev showed a few minutes ago. On the next slide, we'll go through talk about some analytics that's key to this. So one of the things that's unique about Channel Intelligence is that we have both the technology and the data rights to share online sales data back to the brands for leads that you as a brand would provide to those retailers. So for example, if you have an ad, the person clicks on the Best Buy link and goes to Best Buy, if that lead converts into a sale, that gets reported back. And so for the first time, the brands and publishers have visibility then to the effectiveness of the ads all the way through to the online sale. And these are some of the examples of some of the retailers that we currently have relationships with. There's hundreds of others beyond this, but these are some of the key ones that a lot of our advertisers tend to use. The next slide shows some details about the analytics that are unique for display advertising. So as you all know, display advertising has a problem in tracking because the click-through rates for display ads are low. There's 85–90% of people that just never click on display ads, so that metric is flawed because it doesn't have coverage. So what we've done is we look at display advertising and what's important for measuring that. Now, Flite's done a great job of handling engagement type metrics and has a great portfolio of metrics around display ads through to the engagement. We send it all the way to the sale. So you can see for the first time all the way through whether your ads that are shown will convert into sales at your preferred retailers. So we track both online and view-through sales. We can measure the retailer sales lift. So when you send leads to that retailer, some of those leads will convert into sales of the advertised product, and there will be other add-on products that occur as well. So when you talk to your retailers, you can say, here's all the traffic we drove to your site. Here's all the sales that resulted from that. And it helps you build leverage with your retailer relationships so that you can have them, get them to carry more products. You show how good of a partner you are to your retail partners. One other thing to mention in the first bullet point here is the non-click direct response. So what that means is that people will very frequently see an ad and then will respond to that ad in some way other than a click. So one of the things we commonly see when we track this is, for example, you see an ad and then you see available at Walmart inside that ad. Some people are afraid to click on ads, not used to that. They think it might be phishing or some other spam or whatever the case is. So what they'll do instead is they'll go to Google and type in Walmart, or they'll just type in walmart.com, and they'll get to that site. And as long as it occurs within, between 10 and 15 minutes after the ad impression occurs, we can count that as a direct response, and it's shown in the reports how often that's occurring. And you'd be surprised how often that does occur. And the people that respond to ads in that format tend to convert much better than those that actually click on the ads. And there's lots of studies around that, but that's something to be aware of, is that if you're only tracking click-through rates, you're missing a big part of the audience that is responding to your ads, just not in the traditional method of clicking. The next slide shows some of the kind of metrics the kind of questions we will answer with the reports. Because one of the things that we always focus on with data is making sure that it's not just more data, more reports to provide, because everyone has, there's no shortage of reports out there to look through. The key is what insights and what actions will you take off those insights. Because if you're getting data that you're not going to take action on, then it's useless data. So some of the things that we see our clients using this data for is to identify which retailers are most interesting to consumers for a given product or set of products. If you're running an ad and you're showing a rotation of, let's say, 8 different retailers in that ad, which ones do they respond to? Which ones do they click on? Which ones do they visit without clicking? And so you get a sense for what the real interest is from between that product and the retailers, which can indicate a couple of things. One is maybe there's not a strong mental association between that your product available at this store, and that maybe some more advertising is needed to make sure that connection exists. Or maybe one of the retailers just isn't doing a good job of converting your leads into sales. So, knowing the effectiveness of your retailers is a key aspect of the service, because if you know that a retailer is not just getting leads from you, but is converting those leads into sales, then you know that's a good partner that's doing a good job of driving sales of your products. If, for example, you see lots of traffic going to that site, but it's not converting into your sales, then they're not nearly as effective, and that leads to a conversation with that retailer about why not. Maybe they're doing too much cross-selling to competitive products and those type of things. It allows you to go to those retailers with data saying, here's what's happening right now. I'm running all these ads. I'm driving traffic to your sites. And your goal, your responsibility is to convert those leads into sales, and you're being ineffective at doing so. And let's talk about how to make that better. Or you're doing an incredible job. We're going to give you more leads because you're so effective at it. The next slide shows a couple of key learnings that we've identified so far in the campaigns I've been running with Flite. One of the things is that the consumer engagement is much higher for Flite ads than it is for traditional display ads. So because of the engaging element of the ads, just in terms of the normal capabilities that Flite brings to the table, plus adding the buy now components, you're getting people that are watching a video that describes the product, or looking at the Twitter feed and so on. Adding where to buy or buy now component into that ad also has the benefit of, if someone's engaged, they're spending time in that ad, becomes almost a microsite in some cases where they're spending lots of time doing things, they're more likely to buy because of that. So we see great consumer engagement. click-through rates sometimes are slightly lower than traditional display ads, purely because there is a lot to do there. It doesn't mean that's not a negative thing, because click-through rates aren't the end-all here, because a lot of these products are going to be bought in stores. So the fact that they're engaging, the fact that they see that that product's available at that retailer, means that the next time they go to Walmart or Target, they will potentially buy the product when they're there. There may not be a direct response metric, but they're still going to be purchasing. And so that creating that mental connection between the brand and the retailers is critically important for making sure that those sales occur in whatever channel the consumer wants to buy from. And finally, we do see that conversion rates are higher in Flite than traditional display ads. Again, it's a more informed customer, a more engaged customer. So when a person does go through to the retail site, they tend to convert very, very well. And then finally, on the last slide before we go into the demo, just some best practices. So one of the things that we recommend is that this buy now option is best to include in ads that are product focused. So if you're doing a general branding ad that really has no call to action, not really, it's more about creating awareness and creating an image of a product. Those type of ads don't work well with buy now in a lot of cases, just because that's not the purpose of the ad. However, if you're introducing a new product, or there's a new feature of the product, or something that's going to get people to want to go learn more about the product and buy the product, those are the kind of ads that work incredibly well for the service. For example, one of the things that we've done a lot with is new product launches. So when a product is launched in the marketplace, consumers may not know where that's available, and it may not be widely available in the channel right away. So instead of making consumers hunt for the product and try to find it, or go and get frustrated because everyone's out of stock on the product, what we do is we dynamically update the links so that when retailers start carrying the product for a new product launch, they automatically appear in the ad. And then as more and more retailers start carrying it, they will automatically be updated into the rotation of retailers that are shown on the site in the ad. And what happens then is that you see links that go directly to the product pages of the retailer site that are only linking to in-stock products. And so the consumers have a really good experience, and they're very likely to convert. The same thing is true on the opposite side. If a product goes out of stock at a retailer, that retailer will be removed from the rotation in the ad. And that way, again, we preserve the consumer experience. We also recommend showing a variety of retailers. Consumers have preferences for retailers. Some like buying from a Walmart or Target because they know they can return the product in store. Some like buying from Amazon because they have Amazon Prime and it's free shipping. So there's lots of different reasons why people buy from different retailers. We typically recommend showing between 5 and 8 different retailers. In the Flite that component, there's the ability to scroll through retailers. And there's a variety of other ways to show retailers inside of the ads in a way that doesn't overwhelm them with too many choices, but also doesn't just show 1 or 2, because then consumers still have that in the back of their mind thinking, maybe I can get it, maybe I can get it somewhere else. And they start going to like a Google Shopping or other places to find, what are the prices and other retailers that carry the product. So if you show a good selection that comforts them, that they've done their research, that they've got the buying options in front of them, and they'll immediately respond and move on. And then finally, the one important thing is that whenever you're using a service that provides new metrics, it's important to commit to using those metrics. Again, the analytics are only as valuable as the actions you take based on those analytics. So there needs to be a real commitment up front that says, not only is this a great service for consumers to link to the retailer sites, but it's also, we're going to take action based on those results, measure the ROI of the programs, compare one campaign to another, and make constant improvements to the overall results of the ads. And with that, I'll turn this back over to Lev for the demo.
Lev, this is Josh Lane. Can you hear us? Because we're not hearing you in the audio. Might be muting on your end.
Hi, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Sure can.
Excellent. Thank you, Josh. Sorry about that. I'm basically going to build this ad that you saw in the screenshots in one of the slides, just to show you guys how quick and easy it is to build an ad like this in the Flite platform, and also to integrate the buy now functionality. So this ad has this buy now functionality, and then in another tab a video about the product and a Twitter feed. And Muon is just a fake company that we like using for demos. So here we have the Flite console, and let me just go in and make a new ad. And here are some of the templates I mentioned earlier with portrait and sidekick and slider. I'm just going to start with a blank ad for this demo, though. And here we go. This is the ad studio. Again, for designers, this should look very familiar. It's a very Photoshop-like concept. You have some items on the right that you can drop into the ad. You've got your stage here where the ad is going to be composed, and you have an inspector where you can change various settings. So let me start by just dropping a Twitter feed in there. I'm just going to click Twitter under Flite Hub Apps, and the feed just appears right there. By default, it's the Flite feed, but I'm going to change it to our Muon Tech feed, and it's just as easy as just typing in the Twitter handle. And let me just give it a background and change some of the appearance options. Here we go. So that's Twitter. There it is now. Let's add our video that you saw in that demo ad. That's going to be the YouTube component. And let me actually add a tab set. And here under layers, just drag those two components into the tab set. Let's change our YouTube video to the Muon product video in the inspector. And there we go. Now, if you remember, we had this header here that says Muon. That's just a pre-made graphical asset, and I can actually just drag and drop that onto the stage. Let me just put it on top, and there it is. So again, very easy. I'm saving the best for last. If you haven't noticed, that'll be the buy now integration. Let me put these tabs on the bottom. And of course, all of this is very configurable, so you can change all the colors and so on. So a very flexible platform here, and let's give it sort of that purple theme that we had in the sample ad. And now let's do the buy now integration. So we had that background image there. So I'm going to drag that in. There it is. And now the buy now component you see is right here under Flite Hub Apps. You can click on that and just resize it appropriately. And you see it comes in by default as a set of buttons. And if we go to test mode here to test it out, you see that each of these buttons is going to click through to a product purchase page for that particular retailer. So this is a demo page, obviously, but it would look something like this. This is the target click-through. The rest are the same. So there let's just go through these settings real quick to see what aspects of the component or of the app are customizable. So button is the default mode. Then we have expandable, and that's just appears as an expansion that you can expand and collapse and then browse through these retailer choices. And the last one is carousel, and that's actually what I'm going to use for this example. Again, a carousel of retailers, and each one is going to click through or deep link to the product purchase page. Let me just give it the same look and feel as, well, actually, first of all, let me back up a little bit. Looking at the source tab, we have the prefix, model, and brand ID, and that's what identifies the specific product or SKU that's going to be advertised in this ad. And all of these IDs are given to you by channel intelligence, and you just throw them in the component, and it works. Right now, these are demo IDs that we use for the purposes of this demo, and these other IDs are all essentially for channel intelligence metrics. So again, CI will help you configure all of this. And then on the formatting side, let me just make this look a little more like our demo ad did. So let's decrease the height of the header. Change the container color to that kind of purple theme that we have going. And let's do the same for the border around it as well. And maybe let's decrease this vertical padding so it's not so close to the image. And there we go. We just built the ad that that you guys saw over here. So just shows how easy it is to do an integration like this with Flite. So all of these components are turnkey. They just work. So you can see. One last thing I didn't do is let me rename these tabs and reorder them as well. So let's call this Find Retailer. And you see it changes right here in the preview right away. Let's call this one Product Video. And it changes right away, and you see, and let's leave Twitter as Twitter. So there we go. We've got our ad. We have the a buy now functionality in here. We have a video over here. And you see the Twitter feed for Muon Technologies. So the next step at this point is you just click the Publish button to publish your changes. And I won't go through this, but then you go to the Flite section to generate your ad tag. But it's beyond the scope of this webinar. So that is the demo. But back to you, Josh.
So let's time for questions now. So, if you have questions, there's been a few that came in, but if you have questions, feel free to submit them to the webinar portal here. But let me answer the first few, and then we'll answer more as they may come in. So one question that came up is what's the implementation time for setting this all up? So as you can see from the demo side, the work on the Flite side is very easy and very quick. All the integration work has been done already. The incorporation of best practices and tracking and so on has been done already with the components. All that work's been worked out through the partnership between Flite and CI. On the setup side for an individual campaign, it's typically about up to 10 business days is usually the longest that it takes to set things up. Sometimes a lot shorter than that. But basically what we do for each campaign is you provide a list of retailers that you want to show up in the ad, as well as which landing pages you want them to send to. For example, what product page or search result page or brand showcase that they need to go to. So once we get that information, we do the setup, and we provide the different parameters that that Lev showed briefly in the component editor that he has there. So it's a very simple process. Doesn't take very long to do it, and as long as you're planning in advance to do this, then we can get this set up early before you even start the creative development. So it's very easy to drop things in. And then keep in mind, once it's set up, then the changes after that point are dynamic. So if a retailer is authorized but out of stock, once they come in stock, it shows up automatically. So it's very easy to dynamically update things. It doesn't require someone to go back into Flite and make a change. That happens automatically. The other question was whether an advertiser needs to be a client of Channel Intelligence to use the Buy Now services. The answer is no. There's no requirement to use Buy Now on the brand sites, mobile sites, or other touch points. If they only want to use it for the rich media ads through Flite, that's fine. The setup is very easy to do so, as I mentioned, so it's very easy to get up and start it very quickly in that case. So those are the questions we have so far. Are there any other, if there's any other questions, Lev, do you have anything, any questions that you want to answer?
I see we've got a question. How do you manage which retailers are shown? And I think you addressed some of that, Stephen. But basically, that's set up on the Channel Intelligence side. Basically, when you set up the campaign, and then those campaign ID numbers and brand ID and so on, that's when you set up which retailers show up. And I don't know if you want to expand on that.
Yeah, it's an important point. Is that the advertiser chooses who shows up. So it's not just any retailer that wants to show up there, but it's their authorized retailers. If someone's violating MAP pricing, the brand's not going to authorize them, obviously, in those cases. And if they're a small brand that no one's ever heard of, then they typically won't be included. So it's up to the advertiser to decide who shows up there, as well as where to link the consumers on the retailer site. Like I said, it's the top of the case, because then the consumers will hunt for the product. But sometimes there's a brand showcase where that brand has all their products organized, or it could, ideally be right to a product page, because if the consumer is seeing an ad, they're watching the product demo video and so on within Flite, then take them right to that product page and let them buy the product. So if there are any follow-up questions you have, you can please submit them to marketing@ciboost.com, which is the email address you see on the screen here. We'll be happy to respond offline to your questions. And if you need more information, or we're happy to follow up with you and answer any questions you may have.
Well, Lev, Stephen, this is Josh Lane again. I wanted to thank both of you for your time today. Your session was fantastic. You took us through some great material. Our partners at Flite really appreciate you, co-hosting this webinar with us. For those who have joined us today, thank you for your time and joining the session. There'll be a recorded version sent out to everyone who registered for the webinar. We'll also have it posted on our website within the next couple of days at ciboost.com. And as Stephen said, if you'd like to learn some more about the Flite CI Buy Now integration, please email us at marketing@ciboost.com. So thanks again to everyone, and have a great day.